Hi everyone, and welcome to the project pitch for Group 62. For this project, we intend to analyze NHL hockey players and whether NHL hockey players were generally born in colder cities that may have led them to play hockey. This code allows someone to look up an NHL player by their name, and it will output different variables about the player, including birth city and other statistics about the player. We will be using different data visualization techniques to show the consumer what they're looking at in a neat, organized manner. Our code will also search the birth cities, points per game, assists on ice, and more. We will use the birth city to look at the weather correlation for the sport and compare those to other major cities. So far, we have 4 different APIs that we have used for our code. Our first API will provide the player ID of the inputted player. Our second will use the birth city for the player. Our third will look at the monthly forecast for the birth city. And our fourth will show the statistics of the player.
We're going to use 5 different Python packages in our program. First is requests in order to extract the data from the APIs. Then JSON to put the data in better format to work with. Third is pandas to take that data and put it in a data frame to organize it. And lastly, NumPy and Matplotlib to take that data and turn it into bar graphs. The first code we wrote was using a Teams API to extract a player's ID using the inputted player name. We used a while statement to go through every roster and another loop to go through every player in each roster until one of the names finally matched the inputted name. We then retrieve that player's ID and break the loop. The next code is to get the birth city of that player. Using the player ID, we use the people API to get information on the player and extract the city in which they were born. The third code we'll use is the stats API in order to get the statistics on the player's season in 2018 through 2019. After putting in the parameters, we take out the basic measures including games played, goals, assists, and points.
For this portion of the project, our group recognized the significance of graphing information, allowing it to become a visual interpretation for the audience. On slide 8, you can see that we took an input of a given birth city and outputted the average year-round temperatures for each month. By importing pandas, the code was able to format a graph that separated the variables and portrayed each temperature by its respective month. Using pandas helps visualize the information, making it clearer and therefore easier for its viewer to interpret. Many like to say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, on slide 9, you can see that it's worth about 4. Using what we learned in our final labs, our group was able to format our outputted information into a bar graph. This graph helps visualize the statistics for the outputted hockey player, and by putting each individual statistic into its own category. Some may consider this a simple task. However, it is also one of the most important. What use do numbers have if someone is unable to measure them proportionally? This also allows our code to appeal to a younger audience, having them know they are rewarded with a picture for typing a proper input.